Welcome to the Real Estate Fight Club, a podcast for agents where you'll witness a battle of opinions about topics affecting your real estate business. Now, always in your corner, here are your hosts, Jenn Murtland and Monica Weakley.
Are you struggling with what is the ideal path for you? What's next for you? There's so many options to try to figure out, and there's so many different ways that you could take your business, but it's all pretty confusing. So our coach, Coach John Kitchens, came up with a short little quiz that will help you figure out the ideal path for you. Go to realestatecareeraccelerator.com, take the free short quiz, and figure out your ideal path. That's realestatecareeraccelerator.com.
Welcome to another episode of Real Estate Fight Club. In that corner over there is Jennifer Murtland.
Yeah! Team Murtland!
And in this corner, the heavy ranking champ of the United States and beyond.
Wow.
What's up, Jay Mert?
No matter what you say today, I'm going to say the opposite.
Okay, you're just to be difficult, or in the spirit of the podcast, I suppose, you're going to the other side.
Something like that.
Good, I like it.
Probably more the former rather than the latter.
Okay, fair enough. Fair enough. All right, guys. Well, thanks for joining us for another episode of Real Estate Fight Club. Today, Jen and I are going to duke it out over this question. Should realtors, residential real estate agents, realtors, also do property management? Does it make sense for our people to create another stream of income that is property management?
All right, you got to go first because I'm going to do the opposite.
Okay. Mine's going to be real quick. No.
Oh, shit. I agree with you.
No. Hey, hold on. Let me change. Hell no. Come on.
Talk to me. Well, let me think. Okay. I did. I sold that company, but I did it, and I know
Why'd you sell it?
That shit sucks. But that doesn't mean, but I also don't work with buyers. I refer a lot of business. The way that I do things that's not good for everybody, right? But should they also tell me why you're saying no?
I'm saying no because, okay, my experience and what I have seen from that business, I have never been in that business, is that, first of all, it is an entirely different business, different skill set, different everything. That is not something that hooks nicely onto your chain, if you will, that is real estate, and makes a lot of sense.
I think it depends on your customers, though.
I just think
your plan.
Do it right. You're doing it at a really high level, right? Generally speaking, the successful property management companies are doing a lot, right?
You have to do more. You have to do hundreds to make it profitable. Right. But if you are, let's say you're an agent that does 10 or 12 houses or something like that, or you're an agent that generally helps investors, and I think it could be a good source of recurring income. If you don't want to do it on a huge basis, you could do a very specific, one or two clients that have 5 or 10 houses.
I just don't think that's going to be the highest, best use of your time.
Well, is that what we're talking about? Also, working on your business plan and doing your business cards aren't the highest and best use of your time. Yet every agent spends their time doing that instead of lead generating.
Correct. But if you are an agent that wants to make $200,000 a year, you are a $100 an hour employee, right? That's the equivalent. If you work 40 hours a week, you want to make 200, you're $100 an hour. Every hour of your 40 hours, you need to be earning $100 an hour. If you are doing some parts of property management, you are not, you're a $20 an hour. employee, right? If you're doing some of the back end stuff.
I think that
Does
you're
it
making
equate?
a lot of assumptions to draw your conclusion.
Okay, well, tell me, are my assumptions wrong?
No, I'm not saying they're wrong. I'm just saying, like, the question is, should residential agents do property management? I can see why you're saying it's a flat out no, because you're saying it's a no because if we're assuming that the residential agent wants to make the most amount of money, it is a lower dollar producing activity than generating leads or, as you say, loving on your people.
Unless you're doing it at a really high level, which then would prohibit you, I believe, from building a real estate.
Well, that's also a business. And if you're not running your real estate residential business like a business, the chances of you running this property management like a business are pretty low.
Another reason not to do it. I mean, you just keep making the case for me.
No, I'm saying if you're
You know I'm right. You know I'm right.
I think that for most real estate agents, from a business perspective, it doesn't make sense. I agree.
Do you like businesses that are thankless and hard and like?
But Liz, I also think that real estate agents should also own property.
Different question.
It is a different question, but I'm saying I manage mine. If I had an investor that I worked with we had a similar management, like a similar style in the types of homes. It was a similar location. I already self-manage mine. I could see a case for taking it on.
Let me ask you this question. When you were doing property management, were you also selling houses?
Yes.
Okay. So you would sell a house to an investor, sell a 4-family or whatever. Maybe it was just a single.
No, it was weird. No, it wasn't like that, but I see where go ahead.
Okay. And then you're like, hey, by the way, I can also do the property management. Like today we do windows. Like,
no, it wasn't like that. They were like totally really different clientele. Like these people, the people that I managed property for already owned their property. Most of them. Sometimes it would be, we would help them, we would help them because I was already a property manager for them.
Right.
It didn't feed my property management business. It was more the other way around, I guess.
So if you're thinking, oh, I'll help the investors and then I'll also serve them as a property management, I just think that's a recipe for disaster. You're going to lose them as a client if that property management piece doesn't go as planned.
I'm feeling, let's dive into that. Shall we take a break?
Yes, please.
All right. Let us hear a word from our favorite partners. And when we return, we're going to dive deep into what the hell Monica's saying.
Welcome back to the ridiculous battle inside of the ridiculous ring about a ridiculous subject, which is, should real estate agents who sell houses also have a property management company?
Can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
If you're a real estate agent that already has like a job, but it's not inside of real estate, does it make sense then for you to, instead of having that job that's not in real estate, having the job as a property manager?
So if you could match your salary as a property manager, you're saying. Mm-hmm. Okay, so sure. That tells me that you're not really interested in growing your real estate business. And you're right, I'm making that assumption. Hey, I'm a real estate agent and I need some more money, so I think I'll property manage.
Well, that's why a lot of real estate, I believe, that's why a lot of real estate agents get into property management, because they believe that it's a recurring revenue. But like everything, there's always more it's always different in reality versus the thought process, just like real estate, right? Like, oh, I love showing houses. I want to be a real estate agent. Oh my God. How many times have you heard that? 1,000 times, right? Now they become a real estate agent, like, oh shit, it's not like that at all. And that's the same with property management. And
that's why I'm saying no, because I happen to know that is a really difficult business. And I know a few people that do it really, really well and make a living doing it. But there ain't no time for anything else. And I think they're so exceptional. that they're able to be successful in that business, that they could actually be even more successful if they were a full-time real estate agent and took some of that skill set into our business. I guess I just don't think it's a great business. I think that's probably what I'm realizing.
But I also think it's a business you don't know about and you don't understand.
I don't. I 100% say that. And so my answer is from the standpoint of, if you're trying to be successful in real estate, should you get a side hustle in property management? I just think that's a slippery slope into $20 an hour work.
I see what you're saying.
So
I can get behind your thought process on it.
Okay. And to be fair, if you're listening to this and you have a property management company, like there's an agent here in Cincinnati that I'm thinking of, and she does an excellent job, and she runs a shit ton of doors. Like, she's crushing it.
I mean, you've got to do hundreds.
And she is, and she's killing it, and she's also working her ass off.
Or I think there is a case to be made. You are a very specific, you have a niche in something in real estate as a residential real estate agent. As part of your offering, I think it can, in some cases, make sense for part of that niche offering to be to manage those properties. I think as a blanket statement, should residential real estate agents be property managers? No, y'all can't even fill out a contract. So if we have to get you to deal with
making assumptions.
I'm not. I've seen them.
You're being mean to my people.
I've seen these contracts.
I know you can do it. You can do it.
I can't even do it. I think there's a lot of rules.
Yeah.
All right.
I think that the person that's running the property management business likely needs to have a team underneath him or her, because some of that work is so monotonous and process and, $20 an hour administrative work. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that. I'm just saying factually,
hey, they should get a VA.
They could get a VA to do it, right? I've also seen how brutal that job is. I mean, dealing with the renters, dealing with the owners, like,
can be, but I think it depends. All right. I feel like we're going to have to agree to disagree and sort of kind of agree, but not.
The reason you agree with me is the evidence that I would turn into the state is that you are no longer in the business. You are.
Although I do manage my own. I just don't like dealing with other people.
Oh, right. Good thing you're a real estate agent.
That's no evidence for not having a property management. That's just me being a brat.
Evidence that you got out of it. You had the business, you're no longer in the business. That tells me a lot.
All right.
It was amazing you'd be in it still.
Maybe.
All right. I think that's going to have to be the end of today's episode. What do you guys think? Do you agree with me? Of course, Team Monica.
Oh my God.
Or do you think there's room for agents to just have willy-nilly whatever business they want? Go ahead. Property management's all good. Team Murtland.
I think we should stay tuned for our tiebreaker and see what they have to say.
Yeah, I'm curious.
And their perspective on it.
Okay, maybe they're a property manager. I don't know.
All right. Well, if you did like this episode, please like it, share it, subscribe, send it to a friend. And if you are an agent and you want to find out how to partner with Monica and I to help you grow your business so you can make a lot more money, have the freedom without giving up a single penny or paying us any commission, schedule a call at 513-400-1691.
Hey, call us to talk about your business before you open up a property management company too. I guarantee we'll help you.
We'll help you. All right. Bye, Monica.
Right. See ya.
Tiebreaker, Bridgette Long out of hot Atlanta, Georgia. Hey, Bridgette.
Hey.
I'm glad you could join us. So just so people know who you are before we get to the question, you are a real estate broker. You also have a property management company and you do insurance. You're like everything.
That is correct. I found that my clients needed all those services. So why not?
You know what?
One-stop shop.
Good idea. But we do want to talk about today, should real estate agents do property management also?
Okay.
What do you think? What are the pros and cons? What do you think?
See, I am real open to people making their own decision as to which way. Now, I can really get into the pros and cons, just just a quick high level of it. My only thing is you need to be a type of person that's going to be able to do administrative type things, make sure your financials in order, compliance says when you have your license, you are you are held to a higher standard than a regular just a owner. Your license are on the line. So when you make decisions, you have to make ethical decisions that could impede, your license. So you can't do things that are not ethical, right, because it will come back to haunt you.
But it's not it's more than that, right? Like, I think that we can all agree that like we're ethical people, right? I don't think that there's anybody that's like, I'm unethical. I mean,
exactly.
Maybe, but none of our listeners.
Exactly. But the only piece is when you have another master that is running the show in terms of the investor, the owner. So they want you to do certain things to appease them, but you also have to follow the law based off of what the housing codes are, because you're held to a different standard because you are licensed real estate agent for that state. And that's the only piece to it that you have to realize, that you have to make decisions based off of what your housing codes are done.
Well, and I think there's 2 points that I want to pull out here that I want to make sure that you hear. One is that there's a financial duty to the landlords and the tenant, and because of your license and what you're trying to do. And I think a lot of agents, if they want to do property management, they sort of stumble into it and they're thinking, oh, well, and I'm sure, I know you're going to get to this, but like, oh, well, this is guaranteed repeatable income. Well, yeah, but like being a real estate agent, it's not as easy as it sounds. So the first piece you said was you're a financial fiduciary. And if you're an agent that's not keeping your own profit and loss statement and not keeping your own financials, how can you be keeping somebody else's financials? One. Oh, Bridgette had something to say about that.
Baby, and that is so true. Because out of the 16 years that I did property management, I had one audit that came up from the state of Georgia. And I am a records keeper. I don't play, especially when you're dealing with other people's money, but I deal with that in my own money too, because I teach financial education. Too? No, I'm not an accountant, but I just always have been. My mom taught me at an early age how to keep my finances, how to do, your finances. So I just really been good with that. And with that being said, my audit was seamless because I had all of the records. Other than just doing it the way that they wanted it, documented, that's all I had to do. And that was it. Piece of cake. And how they rate it at the end, your company, your firm will do no harm to the public. That's what they say, because all the records are in order. So you have to, if you're going to do it on your own, in terms of your brokerage, you have to keep records. But if you're out there working under somebody else, you still have to keep those records for that particular property and how many properties you have going on. They want to see all aspects of everything. You have to have a trust account and things like that. So it's a lot. Yes, guaranteed money, but you also have to be able to show where that money is going, where it's coming from, it's accounted for and everything like that. So it is more to it than just you're getting your property management fees.
And that's it. In. And everybody's copacetic. And that's the other thing I want to pull out from what you said. So if that doesn't deter you from not doing property management as a real estate agent, let's talk about the other thing that you said. And that was that even though the owner owns the building or whatever it is, you still have to follow the rules. I can think of some examples, but I want to hear an example from you about how the law and the landlord's desire were at odds.
One that sticks out real just blatant is I had an issue with a townhome where the sewer would continuously back up in the front. It was one of these newer subdivisions. They put up real fast. The owner bought it sight unseen from out of town. And of course, they find ways to go around stuff. Long story short, the sewer will back up and it will come into the front of the townhome, which was near the front door, the foyer, and the half bath. All of that coming into the house.
That's disgusting.
So, yes, it's disgusting, but it's also against the law. You have to address it. You cannot put them in an inhabitable property.
Right.
And
I would say sewage in your house makes it uninhabitable.
We kept putting Band-Aids on it. Plumbers coming out, snaking it out, all this type of stuff. And it kept happening. So ruining the floor and everything. So eventually I said, listen, we have to handle this. Of course, it was a couple of $1,000s. And I'm trying to appease the tenant to calm them down. So a quick cleanup and everything, and then deal with the owner to try to, have it where it's reasonably where she could, pay for something. But I had to forget about all that because now, as a licensed real estate agent, I have to put this person in a property that is habitable. It has to have working plumbing.
Right.
So I told the owner, you have 30 days, which you have 30 days to correct the situation, or I have to let her out her lease.
Right.
We're not charging anything. She has to walk because we can't supply her with habitable housing because she doesn't have running plumbing.
Right.
So I've had this owner for years, and I just had to put it. I love our friendship and, of course, because of years, our business relationship, but I have to do what's right because I will lose my license.
Right.
Because all this girl has to do is call the real estate commission and let them know. And then she could call code enforcement, and then so she could do a number of things.
Yeah.
And so we end up, she fixed it, took out a loan, fixed the situation. But that's how serious it is. You can lose your license dealing with people that don't understand that your license are on the line and that you can't provide slumlord housing. People do it every day, but
they self-manage.
Yeah. They do it every day. Private owners are set to different standards. We're not, because we're supposed to know the law.
Oh my God.
So that's one. I've had several, and I've had another one that was a brand new home. It was high 300,000s. They wired the plumbing incorrectly. You had hot water coming in the toilet, hot water coming out of the water thing on the front of the refrigerator. So it's been some crazy stuff that I
think that's something that people don't think about, right? They just think like, oh, this is easy. And they're like, I'm not making enough sales. I don't know how to generate leads. It'll be easy. I'll just be a property manager.
And you're on call 24/7 because who are they going to call when something is wrong? And I'm saying this is scenarios. There is some people that love property management, and then you're going to have that. I did it for 16 years. It did what it needed to do for me, but I had different things that I really wanted to focus on and not be on call 24/7 every day.
Well, that's one thing that I learned when we had our property management company. I now only self-manage mine, but I don't manage for anybody else anymore because you're right. And I think that's your third point is like people only call when they're home. People are only home on Sundays, on holidays, on nights and weekends, the time that you want to be off.
Right.
And it's there's no real balance because then you, depending on how many you have, you also then have tenants that work third shift or first shift or second shift or don't work at all or whatever. Right. So it's like there's no balance.
I'm out of town troubleshooting a leak.
Right.
And you just have, because you can't not address a leak. It could lead to something else, and it's totally, and there's
standards in place, not only by the law, but by the lease that things have to get addressed within a certain amount of time.
Right. Correct. And if you're in a condo association, it's leaking into another unit. You got two properties you're dealing with until you can get to it. So it's it's a lot to think about whether or not that's something you feel like you could handle, because it's the truth that it actually does happen. And
but it's like everything, right? I mean, think about it. Like how many 85% of the realtors get into business and they think, oh, I love looking at houses, I should be a real estate agent. Then they get in the business and within 3 years they're out, because it's not just looking at pretty houses all day. That's not what it is. And the same with property management. Oh, well, it's guaranteed income, I can do that. No, there is other things that you have to consider. Now, if people, you made some really good points, Bridgette, and I am so glad you were on, because these people are tired of hearing my mouth.
Okay.
But if people want to talk to you and kind of flesh out some of the concerns that they may have in starting property management, or just kind of reach out to you, maybe about insurance, maybe?
Sure, absolutely. I do Medicare plans and life insurance. Especially I care about real estate agents and realtors, because of the fact that you lose sight. Stuff is going so fast that you don't take care of your personal. So that real estate agents is one of my target markets that I reach out to.
What is the best way to get a hold of you?
Sure, you can call me directly at 770-895-4580. And also my email address, blong, BLONG, at destinywealthsolutions.com. So you can always get me there. And my handles for social media are at Bridgette Long, MPA, for both Instagram and Facebook.
Awesome. Thanks for being on, Bridgette. I really
appreciate it. It was a fun discussion. Anytime. Thank you.
Bye.
What we need right now is a source for great leads, and I found it. It is called Pipeline Pro Tools. So about 90 days ago, I booked a demo with them. And in that demo, we reverse engineered my business. We figured out how many leads we needed to get in order to get to the closings that we want. And they gave me a playbook to use in order to get that. So I've been using it for 90 days. We've gotten 12 qualified leads, and about half of them are already under contract or closed, which is great. And it is right now my number one source for my best leads that I'm getting. I love this thing. I'm about to ramp up the number of leads that I get with them as well. So, and you might think it's expensive, and it's not. So I was looking for something that's very inexpensive, like affordable to everyone, but also generated great leads. We don't want crap leads. So what you do in order to get this, because I called them and I wanted to partner with them because I was like, this is exactly what our audience has been looking for. So they set up something specific just for us, just for Fight Club listeners. So you would go to pipelineprotools.com/Fight Club. And then you go to the demo, and the demo will show you how many leads you need in order to get the number of closings that you want to get. And then they will give you the playbook that I'm using, my number one playbook for getting leads. And then you can use it too, and we can have happy closings. So go to pipelineprotools.com/Fight Club, book and go to the demo and get all the leads. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button so you don't miss a podcast.